Hello everyone, welcome to the second lecture of the series of lectures for the subject fluid mechanics. I am Professor Prashant today. Welcome you all. So today's topic will be fluid properties. In the first lecture we have already studied about the fluid and their types. So now in this second lecture we are going to study about the various properties of the fluid. So why we need to study about the various properties? The reason is that the properties of fluids determine how fluids can be used in engineering and technology. They also determine the behavior of fluids in fluid mechanics. Okay, so in short, suppose for any specific application we want some fluid, then how to select how to select that fluid? So that selection depends upon the properties of that fluid, isn't it? So that's why there is a necessity to study the various properties of fluid. The various properties are density, viscosity, surface tension, capillarity, specific weight, and specific gravity. So one by one we will study all these properties. So first one is density, or we can say mass density of a fluid. So the density, it is the mass per unit volume of a fluid. In other words, it is the ratio between mass and volume of a fluid. Okay, so it is denoted, the symbol for density is rho. It is denoted by symbol rho. The units, SI units, are kg per meter cube. So the simple equation for density is rho is equal to mass upon volume. Units are kg per meter cube. So the figure shows two diagrams in which the first one, it is a cube which consists of small amount of element, whereas in second figure you can see the number of elements now have increased in the cube. So if we compare both the diagram, then we can simply say that for the first object, for the first figure, the density is very low as compared to the second object. Why? See, because for both the figure or for both the object, the volume is same, the cube is there, its volume is same, but the mass inside that cube is different, isn't it? So please see the two diagram. In the first diagram, the mass is less as compared to the second object. So that's why, as the value of mass, magnitude of mass is less in the first diagram, that's why the density of the first object is less as compared to the second object. Next is viscosity. So already in the first lecture we have discussed about the viscosity. What is viscosity? In simple words, it is the resistance to the flow. If a fluid flow faces large amount of resistance to its flow, then we can call that fluid has large amount of viscosity. And if the resistance to the flow is very less, then the viscosity is also very less. Okay, so we will start with the definition. Viscosity is the fluid property that determines the amount of resistance of the fluid to shear stress. Second point, it is the property of the fluid due to which the fluid offers resistance to the flow of one layer of the fluid over another adjacent layer. So see, if there is a fluid flow through a pipe or over a flat surface, then what we assume? The fluid flows in the form of a layers. Okay, the fluid flows in the form of a number of layers over that surface. Okay, and now what is viscosity? It is the resistance offered by one layer to its adjacent layer of a fluid. That is the definition of a viscosity. The two types of viscosities are dynamic viscosity and kinematic viscosity. Okay, so for understanding the definition of dynamic viscosity, we should have the knowledge of Newton's law of viscosity. Okay, and please see this formula over here. F is equal to mu into A into U by Y. So this is Newton's law, isn't it? If you take area A onto the left hand side, then it will become F upon A. F upon A means tau, shear stress. So Newton's law is tau is equal to mu into du by dy. So that is what is written over here in terms of shear force F. So shear force F finally is equal to mu into A into U by Y. Now here that mu constant, that constant of proportionality mu, it is known as a dynamic viscosity. Okay, tau is directly proportional to du by dy as per Newton's law of viscosity, and then we can write down tau is equal to mu into du by dy. That mu, constant of proportionality, is nothing but your dynamic viscosity. The dynamic viscosity of a fluid expresses its resistance to the shearing flows, where adjacent layer move parallel to each other with different speeds. Okay, so as I have said in the previous slide of viscosity, the fluid flows in the form of a layers. Okay, and if one layer is offering resistance to the another layer, then it's a viscosity. Then we call that kind of a property as a viscosity. Okay, so in short, I want to tell you that if I am telling about viscosity, okay, then that viscosity, general viscosity, we can call that kind of viscosity as a dynamic viscosity. Okay, so if in the numerical of this topic, if the value of viscosity is given in the numerical statement, then you should assume that the value of dynamic viscosity is given for the fluid. Okay, next type of viscosity is a kinematic viscosity. So kinematic viscosity, it is the ratio of dynamic viscosity mu to the density of the fluid rho. Okay, so the formula for kinematic viscosity is nu is equal to mu by rho. Kinematic viscosity is denoted by the term nu. Okay, so the formula is nu is equal to mu upon rho, whereas nu is the kinematic viscosity having units meter square per second. Dynamic viscosity is denoted by mu having units Newton second per meter square or Pascal second, and rho is the density of a fluid or mass density of a fluid, units kg per meter cube. Okay, so out of these two viscosities, dynamic and kinematic, the dynamic viscosity is generally called as viscosity. That's it. Okay, please note down that point. The units of dynamic viscosity are Newton second per meter square, whereas the units of kinematic viscosity are meter square per second. The next topic is surface tension. The property that see the first point, the property of fluid to resist tensile stresses on their surface is called as a surface tension. Okay, so to understand the concept of surface tension, please see the first diagram. Okay, now surface tension means what? When surface tension will act on the fluid surface. So for that there are two conditions. Number one, when the fluid surface is in contact with air. Okay, and number two, the surface between two immiscible liquids will experience a surface tension. Okay, so there are, again I will repeat, there are two cases where the fluid surface will experience a tensile force, or the fluid surface will experience a surface tension, and those two cases are: number one, when the fluid surface is in contact with the air, and number two case is that the surface layer between two immiscible liquids. Okay, so why for such kind of two cases the surface tension will exist? So for that, please see the diagram. This is the diagram related to your first case. First case means what? When the fluid surface is in contact with the air. Okay, so please see here, this top layer, this layer, it is in contact with the air. Okay, this top layer is in contact with the air. So as it is in contact with the air, so it will experience a downward unbalanced surface tensile force in the downward direction, this top layer. Okay, and whereas if you see this fluid element, just consider this fluid element, as this fluid element, it is completely inside a fluid, it is not in contact with the air, correct? So as it is completely immersed in a fluid, so that's why you can see the balanced forces around it. Okay, there is no unbalanced force which is acting on that fluid element, but that is not the case with these elements, these four elements which are in contact with the air. Okay, so as these elements are in contact with the air, these elements or this surface layer experiences a downward surface tension force. Okay, So just remember these two cases. Number one, when the fluid is in contact with air, and number two, when the surface of a fluid, or number two, when the fluid will experience a surface tension for a surface in between two immiscible liquids like water and mercury. These are two immiscible liquids. So these two liquids will not mix with each other. So there will be a common layer. There will be a common layer between water and mercury, and that layer will experience a surface tension force also. Okay. The units for surface tension are Newton per meter. Next is capillarity. So for that, please see the diagram. So what is capillarity? Suppose in a container filled with some fluid, if you insert a capillary tube. Now what is capillary tube? It's a glass tube having very small diameter. So if you insert that small diameter capillary tube inside a container filled with fluid, then you will observe a capillarity action over there. Now what is capillarity? When you are going to immerse that glass tube vertically in a container, then the fluid will either rise in that tube or it will fall in that tube. So both the cases, rise and fall, are presented over here. If you are inserting the capillary tube inside the water, then the water will rise inside that capillary tube. Please here, you can see the difference between the two layers. Okay, so this is the layer of a water inside a capillary tube, and this is a layer of water inside a container. So by comparing these two levels, you can simply say that the water has rise inside a capillary tube. Whereas if you insert same capillary tube inside a container filled with mercury, then what will happen? There will be a fall. You will see a fall in the level of mercury inside a glass tube. Okay, so this rise or fall of a fluid level inside a tube is known as a capillarity. Okay, it is the example, the formula for calculating the rise or fall is H is equal to 4 sigma cos theta divided by rho GD for calculating the capillarity height or capillarity rise or fall. Okay, if it is a water, then there will be a capillary rise. If it's a mercury, then there will be a capillary fall. Next property is specific weight. Now as we have studied that mass density is mass upon volume, similarly specific weight, or it is also called as weight density, it is nothing but the ratio of weight upon volume. That's it. Okay, so the units will be Newton per meter cube, and it is denoted by small w. Next is specific gravity. Okay, every fluid in nature possesses this property known as specific gravity. Okay, why this property is basically used for calculating the density of the fluid. Okay, how? So for that, please see the definition. Specific gravity, it is the ratio of specific weight of the given fluid to the specific weight of a standard fluid. Okay, now here instead of specific weight, you can use mass density term also. It means you can write down the definition like this: specific gravity of a fluid is the ratio of mass density of a given fluid to the mass density of a standard fluid. Okay, now for the case of liquid, the standard fluid is water, and for the case of gases, the standard fluid is air. Okay, so the equation is the specific gravity. First of all, it is denoted by the letter capital S. It do not have any units, and the formula is specific gravity capital S is equal to mass density of a given fluid divided by mass density of a standard fluid. Or instead of mass density, you can also use specific weight property over there in the numerator and in the denominator. So now if you want to calculate mass density of a given fluid, suppose the mass density of a given fluid is unknown, but its specific gravity is known to us, then how will you calculate? Suppose, just take an example of a mercury. The specific gravity of mercury is known to us. Suppose the value is 13.6, but at the same time we do not know the density of a mass density of a mercury. Then how will we calculate the mass density of a mercury? Just simply we will use this equation of specific gravity. Specific gravity S will be mass density of a mercury divided by mass density of water, because as mercury is a liquid, as mercury is liquid in nature, so and we know that for liquid the standard fluid is water, so that's why in the denominator we will write down mass density of water. Mass density of water is a standard, has a standard value equal to 1000 kg per meter cube, so we will multiply that 1000 kg per meter cube by 13.6. So finally you will get the mass density of mercury as 13,600 kg per meter cube. Okay, so every fluid possesses its own value of specific gravity, with the help of which you can calculate its mass density or specific weight. So thank you all, that's it for this lecture. Thank you.